YouTubers? This is Kevin from Survivor Super Fun Time Show. Awesome episode of Survivor 50. A lot of cool stuff happened in this one. It was a double tribal council again, which we kind of expected was probably going to be coming. Didn't realize that we're going to be losing two legends of Survivor in one episode. Totally insane that we lost arguably the two most impactful people post-merge of Survivor 50 in Rick Devens and Cirie. But unfortunately, that's how the game goes. You know, we're at the finish line, basically, of this game. And you got to get rid of big threats. And those two were massive threats. But before we get into the episode itself, make sure to hit the subscribe button to the Survivor Super Fun Time Show. Going to be doing all kinds of stuff in the off season. It's going to be really fun. And of course, we have the big finish of the season 50 finale. Can't wait to see more about this and Survivor 51. Cirie Fields is finally out of the game. If you're a fan of this channel and you watch my preseason stuff going into Survivor 50, you'll know that I said right away someone who should be in danger is Cirie, and someone who probably won't be in danger is Cirie, because for some reason everyone feels like they can work with her, and for some reason they're going to get one over on Cirie long term, or being in her good grace is going to be better for you and your chances to win the game. When it seems like time and time again, unless your name's Parvati, it usually doesn't work out. She's a master at what she does. She has a 10 out of 10 in a lot of different traits focusing on Survivor. The problem is she usually can't win idols or immunity necklaces or whatever at the end of the game to force herself into the finals in front of a jury. And that's basically what happened this time around. The good thing is she made alliances with guys who had idols, but unfortunately they were idols that, one, couldn't be played for her, and two, apparently they don't play them for themselves. Ozzy got voted with one out of his pocket, and Rizzo somehow was keeping a public idol for himself to the final 5. Classic Riz God move, right? And she did the best she could. I mean, there's only so much you can do. And she played an amazing game. She played an absolutely amazing game, but the problem is everyone else knows she played an amazing game. I think, unfortunately, she just lost again. So I think it's fair we have to take a second and give a proper, trumpet salute to Cirie for being voted out of the game. 6 times. 6 times, but you've always brought entertainment and a lot of fans love you, so I salute you. The Survivor Super Fun Time Show is endorsing Rick Devens to win Sia's money. Losing Rick Devens this episode was absolutely brutal. I hate it. I love Rick Devens. I've been a fan of Rick Devens ever since Edge of Extinction. I think he was so fun on the edge. I think he was who I was rooting for, who everyone should have been rooting for to win that season. He won 4 immunity necklaces, and he found multiple idols. He even played 2 fake idols of the same tribal. Arguably the most fun tribal council I've ever seen in my entire life. And being able to see a little bit of that unleashed this season around with the Mr. Beast coin flip, the fake idol being buried at tribal council, Rick Devens lived up to the legend, and the fact that he reportedly was an alternate for this season is insane, because look at how good he is. People are going to leave season 50 and they're going to say to themselves, I'm really glad that, Cirie was on this season. I'm really glad that we got to see Christian back. We got to see Riz God. And they're never going to leave out Rick Devens' name in that discussion, because he left a huge mark on this season. So all I can say is I was absolutely gutted to see Rick Devens go, even though I knew he was going to go, especially once Emily left and they lost their gambit at the last split tribal council. But regardless, I love the guy, and I'm so glad he's back. And who knows, maybe he'll come back once again. Even Aubrey in the episode is like, Cirie's the best ever, better than Tony and Sandra, which is ridiculous. I understand where you're coming from, Aubrey, but no, come on now. But people will genuinely put Cirie on the Mount Rushmore ahead of people like Boston Rob. I was like, what if Aubrey wins the game? Is Cirie even better than Aubrey? Should Aubrey have Cirie's Mount Rushmore spot in this scenario? Just for fun, if you go through all their games, Aubrey's played 4 times, Cirie's played 6. Whether you want to use Cirie's whole career or just her first 4, do whatever you want. But I'm just going to use their entire career because I think that's fair. Aubrey got 2nd in Cobra Bong. She got 5th in Game Changers. She got 16th in the Edge of Extinction. And right now, we don't know what Aubrey's going to get, but let's just say 3rd place for fun of it. If you add those all up and you divide it by 4, which is how many games Aubrey has played, you're going to get a 6th place finish, and about 6.5 is the number, okay? So that's pretty good. Overall, she finishes 6th place in her career. Now, if you do the same for Cirie, you got 4th in Exile Island, she got 3rd in Micronesia, 17th in Heroes Villains, Game Changer, she got 6th, she got 4th in AU vs. the World, and she just got 6th in Survivor 50. And if you add those all up, she gets 6th place, but it's 6.66. So by the fine number, she's actually below Aubrey in placement. So I know Aubrey said Cirie's the greatest ever to play. A lot of really awesome, smart, humble people do say stuff like that. If you go by the numbers and the fact that Aubrey's been in 1 final and she may be in another final, I think a win potentially and another finals trip is going to be better than Cirie, who placed similarly but worse, and 0 finals trips. I think Aubrey is the superior player. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Mick from Samoa is better than Cirie just because he got to a finals once. That's ridiculous. However, when you have a long series of data comparing 2 players that are pretty similar, I think when one outperforms the other fairly consistently, I think you have to go with that person, especially if Aubrey ends up with a win. It's going to be Aubrey, Cirie, a little bit lower. Joe Hunter is the immunity king of the new era. Before going into the season, there were like 3 or 4 people that were definitively above everyone else in the new era as far as challenge bees goes. One of them is Kyle from Survivor 47, who was the king. In the short amount of time he was playing, he won like everything, which is incredible. 2, Austin Lee Kuhn of Survivor 45, incredible, excellent at everything he did in the challenges. And number 3, actually Rachel from Survivor 47 also, and the other one, Joe Hunter, almost tied the record of 5 immunity necklaces in Survivor 48. Didn't quite get there, but this season he's won 3 necklaces. I guess the third one that's shared between him and Tiffany. Some reason they consider that like a team immunity, which is nuts. He got a necklace. It is an individual necklace. So that means necklace-wise, he has 7 necklaces. 7 necklaces is crazy. I mean, there's other New Era players that are in this right now. Rizgod can't buy a necklace if he tried. Tiffany is kicking ass in this regards, and she's right up there at this point. But combined over 2 seasons, Joe is cementing himself as one of the greatest challengers of all time, at least individually. And that is super impressive. And no matter what you say coming out of this season for Joe, there's no questioning that this guy is a major competitor, and he's always going to be in the running to win no matter what the challenge is. Her life was in Rizzo's hands to possibly save her, and Rizzo made the move that I think was actually a correct one to get rid of Cirie, because, you know, he started with the Ozzy vote. Would you keep Ozzy or not? And he decided to let Ozzy go away without playing his idol. Smart, because he's probably not going to beat Ozzy in the final 3. Probably not going to beat Cirie in the final 3. So why put your neck out there to save someone that you're probably not going to beat anyway? He just got done 49. This dude wants to win the game. So why not give yourself the best chance? If he makes it to the final 3, then he's going to have a decent chance. Is he going to win? I don't think he's going to win. But he certainly has a case. I mean, he could say, I'm responsible for Ozzy going. I'm responsible for Cirie going. I got to hold a public idol in my hand for a long time and no one took any shots at me. Once I vanquished Charlie in that vote, then it was basically smooth sailing. People are just giving me chickens and rewards and stuff. And that's why I'm the RIZGOD Rizgod, baby. Like, I feel like Rizzo has a good argument if he goes to the finals. I'm worried that if he goes to the finals, some people won't like him and maybe he won't get votes, but he at least has a really good resume he can speak to. And you just have to hope. You have to hope people are going to give you credit for playing a great game and not necessarily being the most likable person in the world. Because I love Rizzo as a fan. I never lived on an island with him. I don't know if he's annoying or not. Because $2 million is on the line. So people have to feel really good about giving you $2 million. So even if he gets there, they're going to have to feel comfy with it. All right, I think it's fair we should start making some predictions for how the finale is going to go. I mean, if I'm just reading the edit, if I'm just reading how the edit's going to go, I think 5th place is going to Tiffany. I think they shoehorned the idea that she's the biggest threat left in the game, like last minute, and I don't really see it. And I think usually when you go into the finale as the biggest threat, you usually go home 5th. Like Carlin 43 is one of those people. Maria in 46 was one of those people. So it makes sense that she would go 5th, unless she wins a necklace. But again, Joe's the necklace king of the new era right now, so he's always a threat to win that thing. And of course, Rizzo has an idol, and there's no reason not to play it this time around because it expires at 5. So he's probably going to play it. Is anyone going to vote out Joe? Probably not. Jonathan, maybe. Aubrey, maybe. I just don't think so. So I think Tiff is cooked at 5th place, unfortunately. And 4th place, honestly, I don't know, but I have to imagine that someone like Rizzo is going to go back into fire, and I can't imagine he's going to perform a lot better than he did last season when he lost fire. How wild would it be him go back to back with public idols and then lose in fire once again? That'd be crazy. I also think narratively, Aubrey, if she were to get to the end, because it looks like her chances of winning are really great considering she's the only one we have motivation from, that she's going to want to bring 2 big guys to the finals that she thinks she can out-talk. And Jonathan and Joe make a lot of sense. Joe, certainly. Jonathan, I don't know. Because if you put Jonathan in the finals, I think it's a little risky. I think Jonathan could win. And I think Aubrey could win. I don't think Joe could. I think Rizzo will have a problem with relationships. But it all matters, you know, who gets to do the picking. And I don't know who's going to win those challenges. But I can see a perfect ending where someone like Aubrey is going to want to be there with Jonathan and Joe. I think it's risky on the Jonathan front, but it would increase her chances certainly if Joe's there, I think. But it all depends, like how many people are bitter. I don't think the season 50 jury is going to be very bitter. Honestly, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. I mean, I think you have a pretty good chance of getting an outcome that's going to go in Aubrey's favor. But if Jonathan's there, Jonathan's probably going to pull a few votes. Someone like Coach would probably vote for Jonathan. So purely based on the edit, if I had to give a percentage, I'd say right now it's probably like 5% Joe could win the game, maybe like 10% Rizzo could win the game. Tiffany, I'd give her 5%, probably just as much as Joe. Like Jonathan, I guess I'll give him 30%. And then the other 50% is Aubrey. It feels very clear that Aubrey's probably going to win this game based on what they're showing us. It's crazy to think of because early on in the season, you're like, well, we'll get rid of her at some point. Just get her off the screen, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the massive fight between like her and Genevieve, the battle of wills, and Blood Moon twisted everything to death. That really catapulted Aubrey moving forward. There's been a lot of luck involved in Aubrey's game, but there always is. The great Tom Westman said, you know, Survivor's 50% mental, 50% physical, and 50% luck. And I think that's what Aubrey Bracco has had this season, but that's what you need a lot of the time. But we can't say she didn't control her fate at different times. Because again, the vote only one episode ago that ultimately ended up being against Ozzy, that was really kind of catapulted by Aubrey, with an assist by Ozzy, of course. But it was Aubrey. So I have a pretty good feeling that Aubrey is going to take this one. I didn't think that would happen going into season 50, but you know, sometimes you think to yourself like, all right, when you go into an all-star season like this, you know, the biggest threats probably aren't going to win. The weakest threats aren't going to win. You got to find the most middle threat to win the game. And I think Aubrey kind of falls into that most middle threat to win the game. And maybe that's what's happening right now. I don't know. But I'm very excited to see the finale of season 50. And I'm really sad about it. But a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. It's beautiful because it ends, right? The editing going into the finale is so jacked up for Survivor, and I don't really understand what they're doing. You got Rizzo, Jonathan, Joe, Aubrey, and Tiffany. And I don't know what their stories are. Other than Aubrey, I don't think we have a story for any of the other four people. Because Aubrey, it makes sense. She's like, listen, it go wrong. You know, Michelle took a win out from underneath me, and these dopes on the jury, they were bitter, and they took it from me, in my opinion. And I'm here to rectify that. That's what I'm going to do. I understand Aubrey's story. Clear cut. But for Joe, haven't heard anything about his sister. Haven't heard anything about getting over the fact that Kyle and Camilla pantsed him. I haven't heard about that in a really long time. From a narrative standpoint, Joe is just there. He's not actually trying to accomplish anything. Tiffany, she's also just there. She's not trying to accomplish anything. She was only worried about the idol thing. She's like, oh, how long we got to let this guy skate by with an idol? Maybe that's a callback to Survivor 46 when she had an idol and she got voted out because of the idol. I mean, maybe. Otherwise, I'm told that she is the biggest threat now to win the game. I don't know where that came from. I mean, other than the fact that she's winning necklaces, that's about it. Otherwise, I have no idea where she was built up to be the best player going into the finale. I don't get it. Rizzo, I mean, I see what his moves are, but going into the finale, I haven't heard a thing about Rizzo trying to vanquish everyone for him going out during fire last season or anything like that. I haven't heard anything about his last game. He wasn't crying about his family anymore. I mean, I just don't know what Rizzo's story is going into the finale. I have no idea. I mean, other than being the RIZGO2 Rizgod baby, I don't know what he's fighting for. I don't know his motivations. I don't know if he's got a little extra oomph. And even Jonathan, it'd be nice if Jonathan had like confessionals where he was like, listen, people thought I was this lunkhead last season, but they don't understand what's coming for them. You all underestimated me, and look what I'm doing to everyone right now. That would be great. I would love to see that motivation or that little bit of a confessional, but we're not getting any of that. It's just Aubrey. Aubrey is the only one that looks like they are trying to push as a winner. So I have to believe that Aubrey's probably the winner. But even if she isn't, if someone wins and we have no idea what their motivation is, I think it's really like poor editing. I don't really understand what Survivor's doing this season with this wrap up, because I don't mind the people. The people are good. I think Jonathan has played a great game. I think Rizzo has played an awesome game. I think Aubrey is coming on pretty strong, obviously. And, you know, like Tiff and Joe, they're really making some noise at the end here. I don't understand what the journey is. I think Survivor's a journey in many ways, but I need to know the inner motivation of some of these people. I know Aubrey's. I don't know anyone else's. I know we've done a lot of complaining about season 50, the different twists, the cameos and all that, but I'm really upset that season 50 is going to be ending this week. It's really sad. You know, it's been a great ride. I was rewatching the trailer going into it where it has clips of all the old seasons to heroes, and I was thinking about it, and it was so beautiful, and I don't think season 50 accomplished everything that it was trying to do. I don't think it did everything fans wanted, of course. I'm one of them. But I do think it was really good. It was a great attempt. And apparently it spurred something in Jeff Probst and production that said, returners. We need returners. We need these people that we know are great storytellers and have a background. And we can put them together on the island and it can work in this new era game. And it has worked without a question. and I can't wait to see more in the future because no matter what critiques I give of the game, I love Survivor. I think it's great. I think it's really fun to see the dynamics and most importantly, the stories of these people play out intermixed with the game itself. And as long as you can marry those two things properly moving forward still, you're always going to have a fan in Kevin at the Super Fun Time show. But what are you looking forward to heading into the finale? Let me know down below in the comment section. I would love to chat with you more. Otherwise, hope you have an amazing day, everyone. You take care.
It's the Survivor.